Welcome to episode 2 of the JLex podcast. I'm your host, JLex. You can find me on most forms of social media, YouTube, Rumble, IG. There'll be others coming. Let's get into it. Today's topic, emotions. For those of you who are sports fans, in particular if you follow the NBA, you know that there was a mini drama going on in Brooklyn with Kevin Durant wanting to be traded from the Brooklyn Nets. Supposedly, as of yesterday, they figured out some way to come to some kind of an amicable understanding, basically getting on the same page and looking forward to attempting to win a championship. Why do I bring this topic up? Well, when the drama was going on, the owner of the team, an Asian gentleman by the name of Joe Tsai, I believe, it's TSAI, but I don't know if the T is silent, basically came out and talked about how he was backing, I'm giving you the short version of it, but how he was backing his management because Kevin Durant wanted him to get rid of the coach and the general manager. They didn't want to do that. There was a whole big back and forth, but supposedly they've ironed things out. And I bring this topic up because there seems to be a lot of this in our society, and at some point we have to come to a certain realization. Business and personal are two totally different things. They should not be intertwined. They should not be, what's the word I'm looking for? They should not be commingled, if that's the right word that I want to, if that's the right word. They should not overlap, in my humble estimation. The only people you should feel any emotion for are those who are close-knit to you, your close friends, family, etc. When it comes to business, amongst other things, politics, etc., I mean, it's all pretty much business anyway, there should be no emotions. This is one of the big problems that I have with a lot of people in society. I'm not just going to go at black people. This is a general thing. Unless this is somebody that you care about, unless this is somebody who you want to procreate with, or who is your family, because not all your family you should be around anyway. If this is somebody or persons who care about you the same way you care about them, and they are helping you the same way you are helping them, that is completely and totally different. Everybody else is an associate. Everybody else is somebody to essentially be doing business with. These are not people who you should be giving a damn about as it pertains to anything emotional, anything related to your heart, anything related to feelings. This is one of the big problems that's going on in society right now. People cannot differentiate business from outside of business. I'll give you a perfect example. I may not agree with everything he has to say, but Joe Rogan he's the biggest podcaster in the entire world, bar none. When Joe Rogan first signed with Spotify, if I'm not mistaken, that's where he's on. That's the platform he's on. When he first signed with Spotify, there were all these things going on because the people who worked at Spotify didn't necessarily like the fact that Joe Rogan, a free thinker, brings people onto his platform who you may not agree with, who you might vehemently disagree with, but he brings on people and he promotes intellectual, at least thinking, intellectual talking thinking. Some of the people who are at Spotify got really upset and were trying to change the terms of his deal. Why? Because they didn't like what he was talking about. And this is at the height of all the, Rona and vaccines and all that other stuff. So instead of just disagreeing with what Joe Rogan had to say, the people who worked at Spotify, the employees, basically wanted final rights and final editing rights to all of his material so that they could put out what they wanted to, so that they could push their message. And thankfully, the higher-ups of Spotify said, enough of this. Okay? At the end of the day, you are an employee. This is a business. We are trying to run a business. And Joe Rogan is bringing people to our platform, which is ultimately helping to get more money into your pocket. We allow emotions, we allow our feelings to dictate how we function in the business world. And it has to stop. And I'm going to bring up black people in a moment because I see a lot of people as it pertains to politics and business who are emotional about certain things. Prime example, I've never done a study, I've never done anything along those lines, but people of color have $1 trillion buying power. And these are the same people who will sit there and tell you that you need to support black businesses and this, that, and the other are the same people who will go out and buy Birkin bags, Prada, Gucci, all these brand names that aren't black, by the way, because there is an emotional attachment to these things. But these are the same people who want you to support black businesses. How does that work? Do you have ownership in Hermes, or whatever it's called? Do you have ownership in Gucci? Do you have ownership in anything? You will sit there and get mad. Most of you won't support a local coffee shop that's owned by a black person, but will spend $7 at a Starbucks. Do you own equity in Starbucks? Do you own stock? Do you have stock options? Do you own anything? We have to put our feelings aside when it comes to business. And this is related to politics as well. When Joe Biden was running for the presidency, 90% of black people approved of him. 90%. How do 9 out of 10 black people support Joe Biden when he's the one who co-sponsored the 94 crime bill? And he didn't even apologize for it until he was absolutely pressured to, which means in his mind, it was a good thing to do. Kamala Harris, another one, before she got ethered by Tulsi Gabbard. Everybody knows of the human rights violations she committed as I believe she was the assistant DA or the DA in San Francisco. 1,500 families were affected by her ruling, by her putting people into prison for nonviolent offenses, and then extending their sentences so that they could be indentured servants to the state of California in prison. And we know how prison works. And I saw people that I know, smart people, who sat there up on social media saying, yes, we know what she did in the past, but we still have to vote for her. Why? Why do we have to vote for her knowing what she did? And I know what people are going to start thinking right now. Oh, he must think we want to vote for Republicans. They can kick rocks too. I don't know them. I don't know. I know a few Republicans. I don't care for their opinion either, or their ideology either. When did black equals Democrat happen? I don't care about Republicans or Democrats. I care about who is going to help me and my situation. And our situations might be similar, but they also have differences. How black people have fallen into this is beyond me, given that all this information's out here. And considering everything that's going on, last numbers that I checked, still 2/3 of black people still support Joe Biden. Can somebody explain to me how in the F this is the case? What has that man done for you? What has that woman done for you? Your vote, and I know it's primary season right now. We're coming up on elections coming up in November, more nationally. Who are you voting for? Why are you voting for these people? Did they do something for you? Did they help you? Whether it's local, state, or federal? What have they done for you? Your gas prices have gone up. We can pump our own oil here, but your gas prices have gone up. And there's still 2/3 of black people who support Joe Biden. How is this possible? Billions upon billions of your dollars are going to Ukraine, amongst other wars. You know, look at the price of groceries. Please tell me, how is it that people can still support that man or support this administration? And I know what you're thinking. Oh, well, what are we going to vote for Republicans? No. You go and find the candidate or candidates who support your vision. And if I know this is going to be a controversial one, and if you don't find one, guess what? You don't have to go out and vote. And the whole idea that if you don't vote, you don't get to complain is utter nonsense. You pay taxes, don't you? FICA comes out of your check every time, doesn't it? Medicaid, Medicare, whatever it's called. All those things come out. So yes, you have the right to, you can not vote and still complain because your money is being wasted. Congressmen and women are sitting there making hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars, and you're sitting there living check to check. But you will go out there and vote for these people every single time because all we see now is ads. Ads for this candidate, that candidate. All we see is Democrat, Republican. Like they ain't two in the same. Like this isn't like a W. There's like Vince McMahon's Vince McMahon production is not being done here. That's a wrestling reference for those who don't know. And we have to sit here and pretend as if these people care about us. They don't. And you shouldn't care about them. What you should be doing is saying, what are you going to do for me and mine? That's what it is. I know a lot of y'all are going to sit here and say, oh, no, we shouldn't do that. We should vote for Democrats and blah, blah, blah. Nobody cares about no goddamn Democrats. Nobody cares about no goddamn Republicans. Unless they are going to help me in my particular situation. We have to put emotions aside when we go to the ballots. Your vote is a business transaction. It is not an emotional reaction. It is a business transaction. Everything in this world, most things in this world, are transactional and should be treated as such. I don't care what it is. If you go out on a date, there's a transaction. You go to a restaurant or the movies, you order some popcorn, you order a steak, whatever the case might be, a bottle of wine, you give them a credit card, you give them cash. That is a transaction. You go to the supermarket or you go to a farmer's market or whatever the case might be, that is a transaction. When you go to put oil or to put gas in your tank, that is a transaction. It is all transactional. We have to put emotions and feelings aside. It is irrelevant what your feelings are, unless there is somebody who is close to you. Everybody else is an associate. You might be friends with them. You might build a relationship with them. But at the end of the day, they are a business transaction. I am a trainer by trade. I'm very fortunate that I've been able to come across a lot of people who are very good people to me, who have taught me a lot. I've taught them a lot. But first and foremost, our relationship was based in a transaction. I trained them for an hour. They pay me for that hour. That is how the real world works. There's going to be people out there who are going to put their emotions into it, and that's perfectly all fine and well, but that's not how the real world works. You need to put those emotions away. You see how come to think of it, we'll bring up, I'm a married man, but come to think of it, look at where the state of marriages are. People aren't getting married at the same clip that they once did. There's a multitude of reasons for that. But one of the biggest reasons is people don't want to do what? If they get divorced, they don't want to lose what? Half. It's seen as what? It's not seen as in the purpose of love, and that's why in most cases those marriages fail. What is it seen as? It's seen as a business move. All right, your favorite celebrities, who they get with somebody on their level. They don't get with somebody below their level. If you go, actually, we'll take it back a little bit. We'll take it back. The Indian culture, East Indian, out in Asia, they have a caste system. I think it still exists. You don't marry somebody who's beneath you. You marry somebody on your level or above you. Because for them, marriage is not solely about love. It's a transaction. It's two families coming together. It's the same thing here in the States. You see a lot of those families, who are kind of like old money. You think they're gonna let the daughter or the son might go and have some fun or whatever the case might be? But for the most part, who do they marry? They marry somebody who can help to keep the legacy alive, who can keep the legacy going. Why do you think Prince Harry got into so much trouble? How many rules were there? For the royal family, quote unquote royal family, as it pertained to who they picked as a mate. It wasn't about love solely. This person comes from this family. This is good for their family. That's why they had such a tough time with Meghan Markle. It wasn't solely based upon race. She didn't come from a family that was to their liking. And Prince Harry made, whether you agree with the decision or not, made a decision based upon love. Why do you think he left? Why do you think he left the royal family? Because they were giving him all kinds of issues. And I'm an outsider, and I knew this was going to happen. We have to put emotions aside when it's not about people that we care about. Emotion is for fools. When it comes to business, when it comes to politics, it's like I said, transactional. Everything that you do, just think of everything that you do as a credit card payment or a cash payment. And we have to treat politics the same exact way. The same exact way Kevin Durant, and obviously I wasn't in the meeting, but I'd imagine the Brooklyn Nets came to him and said, you know what, we apologize, we let our emotions get the best of us, and they came to some kind of an understanding. Why? Because it's not about emotions at the end of the day. It's about business. Kevin Durant does not give a rat's ass about the Brooklyn Nets. All he cares about is the checks that they cut. That's it. Doesn't give a damn about the ownership. He doesn't give a damn about middle management, the head coach. It's about him and his. And I respect that. And we need more people thinking like that. Excluding who you are involved with. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I hope you all have a great rest of your day. Till the next episode, take care.